Alright, I'm doing another tier list. This one is specifically Bloodborne areas. The last couple of videos I did, they were the Dark Souls trilogy, all three games, and their DLCs, and those were long videos. And normally people will put those, like all four games, in the same thing. I just don't want to do that because they're very similar, but they're just two different worlds, and I don't think I can compare genuinely Bloodborne to the three Dark Souls games. The areas, anyway. I mean, there's a lot of similarities in all the areas in Bloodborne, but with Dark Souls, you have so much variety. Anyway, I'm not going to linger on that too much. Anyway, I'm going to do the Bloodborne areas tier list right now for you guys. And then later on in another video, I will be doing the Bloodborne bosses tier list and give you my thoughts and opinions on that. So, anyway, tier list is five tiers, S all the way to D, and we're just gonna get into it and start talking about it. So let's go. The Hunter's Workshop is an S tier. I don't think I really have to explain much about that. I mean, you get your upgrades, you get your level ups, you get all your shop keeps, and then, spoiler, at the end of the game, that's where you fight the end boss, and it's gorgeous. The scenery in there is gorgeous, and yes, that's the workshop. I'm counting it. Not the boss fight, the area it takes place in. It gives me Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater vibes. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, sorry. And if you've ever played that game, it's very akin to the final boss of that game, which, another spoiler alert if you haven't played it, but the game's been out for over a decade. The end game boss takes place in a very similar scenery, area, I should say, almost to a T. Like, it's a very, like, gorgeous area with white flowers sprung up everywhere. Like, it's almost like, I don't want to say it's a copy paste because I know it's not, but it's very similar, or at the very least heavy inspiration from that with this. Anyway, Bergenworth. I don't really enjoy Bergenworth too well. I think, like, there's so many annoying things, like the enemies in Bergenworth, the experiments that are walking around. They're annoying. They just are. And then that NPC hunter that's in the top floor of the building, that is super annoying. Like, but like the design of it, I think C, because there's not a lot to it. I mean, there's not really much to explore. It's a very small area, so C tier. Forbidden Woods. Forbidden Woods is like the largest place in the game, right? I would assume. It has a lot of upgrade materials. But my problem with Forbidden Woods is that I think it's too big for its own good. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can get in there, and there's a lot of stuff you can find, but I don't think it warrants the massive size of the area, honestly. Like, I find myself on multiple playthroughs, like, just going the main path to get to the boss. And, like, that's only what, like 10-20% of the entire area. So I'm gonna put it in C, honestly. And after I do all of these, I'll come back and I'll, like, rethink and edit if I have to. But right now it's a C. Yosefka's Clinic, I believe it's called. I'm gonna put this in C tier as well. It's one of the darkest places in the game, I think. It's like one of the only places you might need a torch to get by. I mean, if you don't know the way already. But I mean, you start there, and then later on you can get there through the Forbidden Woods. But really, your only necessity, or why you would want to go there, is to get the Cainhurst summons or the umbilical cord, and it's really the only reasons I go. And otherwise, I'm not paying attention because it's so dark. I don't care about anything else. So, but I mean, it still looks nice. I still like how it's really dark in an already dark game. That's cool. But it gets a C. Old Yarnum is a B. My reasoning for that is I like how it's meant to look like an old abandoned version of Central Yarnum. My cat. I heard my cat making noise. Anyway, it looks like an old abandoned version of Central Yarnum essentially. And then that little door sign when you first go in, it's like, no, don't come in here. And then you're just like, ignore that, and you go in. Like it just makes me think of that like meme, that meme of like DW from Arthur, where it's like, oh, it's a good thing I can't read, and the sign is like, it's like, don't come in here, whatever. But she's just saying, oh, I can't read, so I don't care. Like that's pretty much what it is. Healing Church Workshop. I think this is D tier, and I think my reasoning for that is because it's very limited space and it leads you to one of two places, and you don't stay there for long. There's a lot of enemies in that small. It's kind of compact too. I mean, yeah, it's three different floors essentially, but plus like falling puzzles. Like I'm not a fan of those. I never have been, but that's just me. Central Yarnum is B. It's it's Central Yarnum. It's like it's a good precursor to what's to come. I mean, I know we start off in Yosefka's clinic, but then we immediately go here, and it's like, okay, this sets the tone. Central Yarnum does sets the tone for the rest of the game, and it's got two bosses, including an optional one. Like that's pretty good for an opening area. Like I'll take that. Hemwick Charnel Lane. I don't. This is another C tier because you have so much to like. When you veer left from Vicar Amelia, you basically get access to it, and it's like that little forest area with the dogs and the other Yarnamites, I think they're called, whatever. And then there's the actual area, but I think all of that is Hemwick Lane, just what I'll call it. And then you get like, in my opinion, like the shittiest boss in the entire game. Like, well, maybe not. Fuck, but we'll figure that out later. But yeah, I think it's like a C because it's a vast area and there is a lot to explore. Plus, like, you get the rune tool and access to Cainhurst, but it's C tier. There might be a lot of these. I don't know. Yahargul Unseen Village. I like it. I think it's A tier. I really like this area. It's very. I want to say like mysterious, but like not just because, oh, unseen village, but like it just gives off vibes that like weird shit is going on. I mean, you already get that vibe from this game, but when you go here, it's like, what in the fuck is going on? And the whole area like does that, and there's a lot to explore. Plus, technically, you get two bosses out of it because you have to go to get to not only the one reborn, but Parl as well. I think you access through here, so that's pretty cool. The lighting is dope because of the blood moon, blood. Yeah, that's how we're saying it now, people. Anyway, so that's A tier. Forsaken Castle Cainhurst. I am a sucker for castles. This is an S tier area. It looks so good. It's got snow. That's a bonus. I referenced that in one of my one or both of my previous Dark Souls tier list videos, but I think it was the areas one as well. But I mentioned snow. Like a lot of areas that have snow, I'm a sucker for. So that's, this plus the snow plus essentially vampires. I mean, they're not, but essentially that's what they are. And like the ghost spirits and shit. The rooftop boss fight. I mean, you're fighting them on a rooftop. That's pretty fucking cool. And then you put the crown on, and it like reveals what's behind the wall. I love it. Upper Cathedral Ward. This is a C tier. There's too many brain suckers. I mean, I'm basing a lot of this off of like the experience of the area, not just the design and everything. That's what I'm kind of going on. So if you're confused, I'm sorry, but So it's clear, and so I actually state it. I'm basing my opinion on the areas, including enemies, including design, including I don't know. I guess I'll bring it up when it happens, but it's not strictly on design. It's not. Upper Cathedral Ward, I think, has too many brain suckers. It's an optional area that I don't really like to go to because it's kind of frustrating to me, just a little bit. But maybe that's just me and my poor experience. I don't know. But yeah, this is C tier. The abandoned old workshop. It there's nothing there except a couple things. Like you get an umbilical cord, you get the doll set, you get the hair clip, and is there something else you get? You get the old hunter bone, right? I mean, it's. I'll put it in B tier. It's. I mean, there's not much to say. It's such a small area. That's where it goes. Cathedral Ward is A tier. I consider that like the main hub of the entire game. Like I say, like a lot. My opinion on this being essentially the game's main hub is that when I find myself looking for something specific, whether it be early or late game, I go here, or I have to go here, like to get to Old Yarnum, to get to Hemwick Lane, to get to the Nightmare Frontier, fight Vicar Amelia, get access to the DLC. Like, there's so much stuff to do here, and it just looks great. Like, the whole area, like, all the staircases, the big, like, the big gothic style, like, cathedral that you're literally in, and then where you go to fight Amelia, like, top notch. Almost. The Nightmare Frontier. This, excuse me, D tier. Poison? No. The enemies? No. Like, you know how many times I played through this my first time and I got stuck on a silver beast here, and then I found out later I didn't have to go through this area? I was so mad. But now, when I go through, I don't really have a reason to go through here, so I kind of avoid it. But it's annoying. There's a lot to it, and it's only to fight amygdala. I don't know, whatever you guys want to say, but that's just where I put it. The lecture building. I like the lecture building. It looks cool. I like the fact that it like incorporates everything because over the course of playing the game, we find out about obviously the lecture building, the students for Bergenworth, and all the shit that was going on. It's and the fact that there's like ways to get to two different nightmare realms in this place. Like that's really cool. Plus, shout out to essentially Patches. I mean, he is Patches, but he's a spider now for some reason. We got the Hunter's Nightmare. It's just ultra spooky. It's not even spooky. It's just a messed up version of the Cathedral Ward, kind of. I don't know, man. That Blood River really does fucking send it, though. It really does. The Blood River is insanely good. I mean, I know that's not a specific area, but that it's part of this, I think, and I like it. I mean, the Hunter's Nightmare is everything up until Ludwig, right? Yeah, I'm gonna put this in A tier. I kind of like it. I kind of like that run because like you start at the lamp, you got to run out, up, backwards, all the way up the Blood River. You know the scenery's great. It's actually in the fucking daytime, which is nice. And it leads to one of the greatest boss fights in the entire series. Period. Anyway, we have the research hall. I think this is. I was I was thinking lately that this was too big, like too big and a lot going on for like what you have to do. It's so massive. There's what 5, 6 floors in this, plus the rafters that move, and it's almost as big as Forbidden Woods, I want to say. And it leads to the Living Failures. I don't know. I think it's like a B. It's really cool, but we have the Fishing Hamlet. I like the Fishing Hamlet a lot. I really do. I like the design. I like how eerie it is. I like how the story essentially culminates into, this. Like, we hear in the main game references and stuff, and then finally we're playing through it, and then we get here, and through the context clues, we eventually find out, and it's like, holy crap! Like, and then there's the enemies. Like, yeah, some of the enemies are annoying, like the giant fisherman, especially getting the Rakuyo. I think it's the Rakuyo. Yeah. Oh my god, that's such a. Anyway, no, I like this area. I think this is an A tier area, absolutely. And then the Nightmare of Menses, Winter Lanterns, the Big Brain, if it's a brain, Blood Rock. You fight Mikalash and Murgo's Wet Nurse. It's like, excuse me, I pretty much run through everything until I get to the bosses, so I gotta put it in D tier. Honestly, nothing else to say. I mean, I've had my fair share of farming Winter Lanterns, so I can tell you I spent a lot of time in here, and D tier. Like, the random, especially on that one bridge where the Winter Lanterns are, you got all those rock formations and shit. I don't like how it's just random. I don't know. It just looks ugly to me. Not that, not that I'm saying it's a bad design on their part, because it's supposed to be that way, but I just don't like it. So D tier it is. And that's it. That's every area in Bloodborne. We have two in S tier, the Hunter's Workshop and the Castle Cainhurst, the Forsaken Castle Cainhurst. We have four in A tier, Yahargul, Cathedral Ward, the Hunter's Nightmare, and the Fishing Hamlet. In B, we have five with Old Yarnum, Central Yarnum, Abandoned Old Workshop, Lecture Building, and the Research Hall. In C, we have five as well: Bergenworth, Forbidden Woods, Yosefka's Clinic, Hemwick Charnel Lane, and the Upper Cathedral Ward. And then in D, we have the Hunting Church Work Tower, Healing Church Work Tower. Wow, I'm trying to look at it. I'm like, oh, it starts with an H, and it's got ing. It's got to be hunting because the whole game is about that. No, Healing Church Workshop. Sorry, Nightmare Frontier and the Nightmare of Menses. That's it. Anyway, I hope you like this. Uh, Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if just let me know your opinions on this. I mean, this is a game that a lot of people like, including myself, obviously. So I mean, I never mind having conversations about it. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you around.